Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement, broadcasting from our flagship studios at AM 920 The Answer in Buckhead, Atlanta. I'm Aaron Williams.
And I'm Tim Dennis, and we've got a fully loaded show today, Aaron.
Busy studio,
We've got a full studio. We've got the mad scientist, Scott Hedeen from Burnt Hickory Brewery.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be back on Beer Guys Radio.
Good times, yes. And we
Good to
have
see you guys.
Morgan and Lisa Maclellan from our sponsor, Your Pie Perimeter, joining us today. Guys, thanks so much for coming in.
So glad to be here for the first time.
Yes, we're excited.
Good. You guys have to share a mic, so you gotta have to act like you're married, and so you get close and all that kind of stuff.
Be nice.
So.
Be nice in the studio. That's
or else
right.
I'll make you share a mic with Scott.
Yeah, you don't want to do
that
that.
to happen. Exactly.
Overload the microphone.
That's right. So busy show today. We look forward to talking to those guys. But first, this week, man, you guys took over for me last week. I appreciate that. Thank you.
At Your Pie.
Yeah,
we taped
absolutely.
the show Your Pie. Had a good time. Brian Hewitt, who's sitting in the back sipping beers, is joined. Took your spot
My
there, Aaron.
doppelganger. Yes.
Yeah. So we made it happen. It was a good time. So you were on assignment.
That's what they say when it means I'm not here.
So tell us about your assignment. How'd that go for you?
Yes, I went to actually my wife walked the Walt Disney Marathon, and so my parents surprised us with a week's vacation also in Orlando too. So with two kids on the way, it's fun to go see the mouse, do all the parks and all that kind of fun stuff. I was also able to kind of get away and check out the Orlando brewing scene, which is interesting. It's very young. And very spread out, very similar to Atlanta. There's no one real close district. And if you're not used to Orlando, of course, everyone goes to the parks. But actual Orlando is like a half an hour away from the parks. So you've got to drive all the way there, and then there's some crazy, sketchy areas that you kind of got to go to get some of the breweries. But you went to Orlando Brewing, which is the oldest brewing area there, and also Ocean Sun, which is one of their newest one. Some pretty good beers. I was really impressed with what they had. So,
what was your favorite down there?
I really had a couple of them. There was a Lord Vorloff from Orlando Brewing that was really, really nice, and then also Ocean Sun had a coffee stout, Bucci beer, and it was just a ton of espresso coffee, and it was fantastic. So yeah, like I said, they're young, but they're growing. If you're a craft beer fan and you're stuck there with the family, take a day off and go check out some of those breweries out there.
Very cool.
Fun. Yeah. How about yourself?
So I had a good time. Busy weekend last week, and I went to the Scofflaw, their first bottle release. They had barrel-aged Absinthium, which is a barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout. Just a fantastic, big boozy, bourbony beer. So that was really good. Managed to make it over to 3 taverns for the release of their Third Age. I believe it was called Third Age. They've got a few coming recently, but the Third Age was releasing this weekend quickly. Went to my parents' basement.
Yep.
Cool beer bar there close to the 3 Taverns Brewery. And went to Jekyll. We went to Jekyll earlier in the week, hung out with those guys, saw their upgrade that they're doing there.
Yeah, they got a lot of great stuff going on. So it's nice to see them growing.
Big brew house coming. They've got a new beer releasing soon. Did that. And on my runnings this weekend, I went to Sublime Donuts. Have you tried Sublime yet?
I love Sublime Donuts.
They've got a new location over near Buckhead area that's 24 hours.
Oh, no.
So
that's dangerous.
Coffee and donuts 24 hours. So that was my highlights of the week.
Their orange creamsicle donut is like the best one.
They've got so many options. They had a s'mores donut and a Heath bar. That
my son had the Heath bar last time I was there.
Crazy
it's just
stuff,
ridiculous all over the place.
Yes,
yeah, I know. So,
absolutely.
So yes, Sublime Donuts and beer and coffee. That's good stuff. Hey, speaking of good stuff, we've got Truck and Tap's beers of the week.
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
Lots of them.
We have a plethora,
absolutely,
a veritable cornucopia of beers for our beers of the week. So we have one from Southbound Mystery Ship, which is an all Brett Imperial Red Ale, hoppy. All Bred Imperial Red Ale. So I'm looking forward to trying that one. I think it was Draft Magazine listed that as one of the best beers they've had this week.
Yeah, and it's just started hitting shelves too. I think it's a one-off release too. So look for it at your stores probably now.
And of course, we got some good stuff from Burnt Hickory. That's Scott and Brian Hewitt brought a few in for us to have. So we've got, right now we're drinking the Machine Gun Etiquette, which Scott,
it's our
lemon pale.
It's a pale ale with lemon added.
Very good. It's good stuff. So we also have a Kolb's Farm, a Statesboro Blues, a Public Animal number 9, a Noggin Knocker, a Freak Flag, and a Feeling Gravity's Pull.
I'm really glad that this is a full studio because that would be dangerous if it was just 3 of us
Indeed.
in there.
So we have plenty to choose from.
There's some high ABVs there.
Right. You don't do a lot of session size beers.
Yeah.
So that's it.
We
Those
tried
are
to make
beers
an
of the week.
alcoholic beer once, and it came out 4%.
There you go. That's it. Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get
Now
into some
that's
headlines.
comedy.
That's good stuff right there. That's right. Let's get into some headlines.
What's in the news? The beer guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines. Sponsored by Your Pie Perimeter in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center across from Perimeter Mall.
I know those guys. Those guys are right here. That's right. Anyway, yeah, we've got some interesting news out there. Probably one of the biggest news of the Georgia and Alabama beer scene this week is Creature Comforts. They've officially announced their expansion. So I believe by the time that they're done with this, 78,000 barrel capacity. Is that correct?
That's right. 78,000 barrels of fermentation capacity. So with the current numbers, that would make them the second largest brewery in Georgia.
Yeah, and I actually kind of looked at the BA Top 50, and that would make them about 40. Or as of
in
the 2015
US, right?
in the U.S., yeah. So that's about the same numbers as Allagash, just for a comparison. So, yeah, huge expansion for the guys at Creature Comforts. So maybe, hopefully, in a few years or a few months, we'll be able to actually find Tropicalia.
That's right. Maybe.
You don't have to go hunting for it. That's exactly it. So congratulations to them. Also, some other releases, too. Second Self. They've got Manic Pixie Dream. You reported on this at Beer Guys Radio, and looks interesting what they're coming out with. So I'm looking forward to tasting some of their treats. And that's always good stuff.
A stout with bourbon maple coffee.
That's good stuff.
Comes in a 4-pack with different art on each can there. So very cool setup on that.
Getting all fancy with us. So, yeah, some other news also going around. Some good news for some of the outlying areas in Georgia. Reported in LaGrange that they're going to have a Wild Leap Brewing Company. That's they're going to open a brewery there in the former Westbrook Tire Building right there. Really, actually, this week. It's been open now. So LaGrange looks like they're going to have their new. It says as of on Thursday. Or no, I'm sorry. They announced
that was their announcement.
Their announcement.
Right?
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So don't go rushing
I was like,
to
maybe
downtown
I need
LaGrange.
to go check my news again. So yeah.
So hopefully we'll get news about them being released here later in the year. But very cool. Again, they've been working with the Red Brick Brewing Company and those types of things, heading up to LaGrange and
a couple guys that worked together at Red Brick took off on their own and took a wild leap to start a brewery.
There you go, Wild Leap.
Imagine that.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Poor guys.
I know. They just don't know what they're getting into, right, Scott?
Oh, my God.
Also, in Floyd County, they've got, renaming of their brewery there. It's actually a Rome City Brewing now. Used to be a brew pub in that area, but they've kind of renamed that. So it looks like their craft beer is just slowly expanding across the state of Georgia,
filling in the
which is
gaps
nice,
out there, right?
I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
So one thing that's also interesting in the news, too, we've also got some news on the legislative side. This is reported by the AJC that a bill would allow distillers to sell liquor on site. It looks like House Bill 60, sponsored by Representative Ron Stevens from Savannah, would allow distillers to sell limited amounts of their product directly to consumers and also feature on-site dining. And again, it only applies to liquor manufacturers, not craft beer brewers, who have also, of course, yearned for the same ability. But it looks like liquor manufacturers could be allowed to sell up to 1,000 barrels of booze directly to consumers from their distilleries.
Yeah, and that is just for distillers.
Yes.
I think you might have hurt a few people's feelings the way you introed that. We've got some exciting news on the legislative
I'm sorry.
side.
I apologize about that. Yes.
They're like,
it's
yes.
alcohol.
They're like,
Yeah.
it's distillers. So
I
is
think it's
talk
good.
that-
It's good because we have a distillery right up the street from us in Kennesaw.
Right, Lazy Guy, just up from you
Be
there.
very good for him. I know he's been struggling the way the laws have been set up previously, and I think he's definitely somebody who would definitely benefit from that.
And there's rumors, 11 Alive reported that the beer laws are supposed to get something that sort of mimics that, but there has been absolutely no official word on that just yet.
Exactly. And also, final news out of Alabama, Haint Blue, Keith Sherrill, the owner there out of Mobile, he just announced on Facebook the other day that unfortunately their construction plans have been kind of thwarted by a delay. Basically, somebody put in a block for their permit release. So they've got to fight that permit before they go. So folks in Mobile may have to wait for the Haint Blue, but he did promise that they'll brew off-site and have beer by Mardi Gras. So
yes,
that'll be good for them.
Absolutely. So you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. It's time for us to take a quick break, but coming in next, we'll crack open a beer of the week, and we'll chat with Scott from Burnt Hickory Brewery.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep. brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the beer guy sent you.
You do not want to miss Nuit Belge, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill in downtown Atlanta. Nuit Belge pairs Belgian and Belgian-inspired beers along with some of the South's best chefs. Head to nuitbelge.com/Atlanta today. Use promo code BGR10 for $10 off your admission. That's Nuit Belge, an evening of Belgian beers and some fantastic food. Saturday, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill. Tickets and details at nuitbelge.com/Atlanta. And don't forget, use promo code BGR10 for $10 off. Can't get enough craft beer talk? Of course you can't. That's why you need to head to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts and sign up right now for Project BGR. Project BGR is where Tim and myself get to talk to some of the big names in brewing from across the country and the world. We get the scoop on what's going on with breweries like Cigar City, Boston Beer Company, Jester King, Burial, Ballast Point, and more. Project BGR, new shows every other week. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. Project BGR, it's a craft beer podcast.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out. Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guy sent you.
If you really like craft beer, the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market invites you to their store. Not just growlers and craft beer, but everything you need for backyard barbecues and tailgating is available at Stout Brothers. Big Green Egg, accessories, local meats, cheeses, sauces, pickles, and more. If the gang's plans involve your backyard this weekend, you gotta visit the Stout Brothers. Stock up today and get ready for life. It's quite simple. If you really like craft beer, you have to visit the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market in the Smyrna Market Village.
In 3.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're at beerguysradio.com. Join us in the studio this week is Scott Hedeen from Burnt Hickory Brewery.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, Scott. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So, Scott, per your request, the beer that I'm about to open up right now is Feeling Gravity's Pull. Can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, it's part of our Fabe Ales of the Reconstruction. There's an obscure REM album from the 80s called Fables of the Reconstruction. So we made,
Careful there, Tim.
It's a stout. It's a habanero maple bacon coffee stout.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow. Maple and bacon, people are like, what? If you think about it, you know, when your bacon falls into your pancake syrup and you're like, that's the best part of the breakfast.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is the best.
That's what it is. So this has got some heat on it. I'm warning you right now. Mr. Alex
Do you remember
Cheever,
trying
Chewy,
their,
are really working on it.
Spanish bombs?
Spanish bombs when we did.
Holy mackerel.
Holy mackerel.
That thing, that was nose clearing. That was the
And
sinus
I think that was the
clearing out
one
of me.
that Scott said he had blended down because it was too hot. That was
Yeah,
what
we
you
definitely
had,
did.
so,
That's definitely what we do. We blend the taste.
Yeah, that was quite the bite on it. So yeah, last
painful.
I know last time we talked, you guys were getting ready for that big Depot Park Beer Festival.
Oh yeah, okay.
So what's been happening in the world of BHB over the
Well,
past while?
the doors are still open. Every time I come
That's
in, I
good.
have the door, my key still works, so I think we're still kicking along. We are, we're a small brewery in Georgia, and we are doing the beers we want to do and how we want to do it. Things have changed. I think when we opened it, when I got my brewer's notice in 2011, I think we were the 8th brewery ever since Prohibition in Georgia. And we were like the first nano brewery, I guess. Mm-hmm. And now there's like 50 breweries. So we're seeing, that's not like anywhere else because at the time we've been on the radio here, 5 breweries have opened in North Carolina. So
exactly.
That's how fast it's growing around the country. So we're still going, our thing is we sell every drop. Every drop we make sells. we just can't make it fast enough.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's been discussion recently about how people aren't seeing our package on the shelves. We are going into bars now or restaurants like our friends here at Your Pie, where they dedicate a tap handle, a line to Ezekiel's Wheel, our pale ale. We have to keep making that because it's not like at the Taco Max or at the Brick Store or the Port or even our buddies at the Nest. Nice little plug for our bar up in our town in Kennesaw, the Nest.
Barbecue and beer.
That's one of our sponsors, too.
Okay, good. Well, it works out.
There you go.
They change, the keg kicks, they change it. Where some of these places, like a Johnny's, let's say a Johnny's in Hiram, puts, big shanty on, they need it all the time. And if they don't, they're going to find another stout. And there's plenty of great stouts in this, I can think about 5 of them off the top of my head that are made by local Georgia brewers that would take over. So my distributors are going, okay, we need the kegs.
Yeah, because if you go to a place like the Nest, then the average consumer there is probably going to try. If you're going for beer, you're going to try a lot of different things. But I could see that if you're going to Johnny's Pizza,
you're going to say, hey, I got to get a Zeke. And then
I
need a pale ale. So we're filling that. And I guess it's be careful what you ask for. You just may get it. Like our growth made it so before when we were the Nano Brewery, it was kind of like, hey, that's all you got. You get what you get.
Yeah.
Now we are like putting it out there, so we have to kind of feed the draft beast. So that kind of makes us, we got to figure out when we get into how much goes in the small package. Plus, we hand label all our bottles. So I'm going to say hello to Kelly Corley and Bob Southard who do all the labeling.
Keeps the labels coming there.
Keeps the labels coming. We're working on that too. But yeah, this year, 2017, is going to be the year of the small package for Burnt Hickory.
Cans?
Yeah, you were like, what?
Listen,
what?
That's it.
There's a joke there, but I'm not
just
going to
like
go there.
every other year, Scott.
We're making enough beer. We made the same amount of barrels of beer we made last year. We made this year, 2000s. But people are like, we don't see it well because we're now in bars all over. There aren't even beer. I wouldn't not say beer bars, but we're seeing a renaissance. Not a renaissance, a emerging of. It used to be Brick Store, Porter, Taco Mac. That's where you got your beer. Now we see places like Your Pie. We're seeing restaurants. There's a restaurant in downtown Kennesaw, Trackside. They have 16 taps. It's all local.
That's amazing.
Scott, this beer is making my ears sweat in my headphones. Is that the way this is supposed to work?
I love it. This is great.
Yeah. It's spicy. Yes.
It's got some spice to it, huh?
Yeah.
It's a little
Tons
spicy.
of coffee on the nose, though. It's really delicious.
Yes. So anyway, so we're moving along. I just actually got a quote from a canning company, so we're going to look to buy our own canner.
Nice.
We that's coming this year, and we're going to try to make as much beer as we possibly can. We're and everybody asks, when's the digits coming back? So it's coming back. It's our.
Are you setting your sights on increased growth, or are you happy with where y'all are right now?
The way it works here in Georgia, you have to make a lot of beer to make money. Mm-hmm. That's just the bottom line. We opened at a Nano Brewery. I tell people all the time what I didn't make in foldable equity, I made in brand equity. So I had to grow to start making money. Mm-hmm. Even now, I still have to grow.
Yeah.
Our friends at Creature Comforts obviously are showing growth, so they can start, start making money and get into this weird thing they call in the black.
Yeah.
So
sounds like crazy talk to me, Scott.
Crazy talk, yes. I mean, it's difficult, but you need to be able to kind of stay the course. I mean, we're hoping that we get some type of law change here in the near future would help us be more like some of the smaller breweries in North Carolina. A lot of people compared us to a brewery up there called Burial that opened as a Nano Brewery about the same time we did. Their Skillet Stout was kind of like Big Shanty. They're growing leaps and bounds because they have a cash flow tasting room where money's constantly coming in, so capital is not a problem. You need money to make beer, but you need beer to make money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. So.
Scott and I were talking earlier about when they first opened up, those that have been fans since they opened, they only had one tasting per month. They'd have a random Saturday.
It's like a Lollapalooza.
And I remember going to the very first ones, though, where there may be 20 people there once a month. Just nobody. And but it only took like 2 or 3 months where those 20 turned into 200 or 300.
Yeah, that was kind of that. I mean, but people were like, why don't you do that anymore? It's like, well, because we have the tasting room, we get people. We see more people in a month. Or in a week than we saw in those days, just kind of spread out. But I remember the first time we opened the tasting room was me and Taylor and Beavis. We opened the Taylor Yates, who's now at Curry. Yeah. He was my first brewer. I've been through a lot of brewers. I hope they're all well. Anyway, so we saw there's like 20 people shut. I'm like, oh my God, there's 20 people here. And then like 2 months later, we're sitting at the door trying to like keep people out. So.
It's good times.
But, it's different. So. I mean, craft beer has definitely changed, even in 4 years. 4 to 5 years here in Georgia. It's just
well, even in Kennesaw. I mean, you guys were the first brewery there.
I love how I say we're the original brewery in Kennesaw. I'm the one who had to go to the city and go, like, you want to do what? They go, I want to make beer. What? And they're like, so they were all, Kennesaw has been great to us. I can go down there and talk to the mayor, like bang on the door and go talk to him. Or, I can't really, here in Atlanta, I can't imagine going banging on Kasim Reed's door and go, hey, what's up, sir?
His tweets and that. You're not going to have
with his lights on.
That's right.
I mean, I guess it's a much bigger city. So there is a thing, and Kennesaw is, we're seeing the whole beer scene not be like are we a Georgia brewery now? We're now become like a Northwest Georgia brewery. Yeah. Where like there's an Athens brewery. Then there's like now we're seeing like West Side Atlanta breweries. We're seeing the Beltline breweries. And then we're seeing like Grant Park, the Avondale Estates. You're seeing and there's a Savannah Brew Corps. So it's almost, we're starting to see less of these breweries getting bigger and taking over the country, but they're trying to concentrate on all because there's probably 100, I don't know how many, maybe tens of thousands of craft beer drinkers becoming craft beer drinkers like every day. Mm-hmm. Somebody goes to a Taco Mac and has a red hair long day lager and realizes it's a lot better than Budweiser. Yeah. Not that I don't like Budweiser. I like Budweiser. I drank a lot of that in my life. But people are starting to realize that craft beer is not weird.
Exactly. It's part of the mainstream. Yeah. It's a cultural thing. And, we just talked about that, too. Of course, we had Omaha Brewing on last week from the tiny town there south of Columbus, and just talked about LaGrange and Rome opening up breweries. Valdosta is about to open a brewery, too. Yeah. So all of those things are kind of filling in, and people are getting their own regional breweries and own regional type of styles that are going on.
It totally is. It really is a real change here we've seen. And I think, I would honestly say that if we had looked at the top 15 breweries in the state, we could put them up against the top 15 breweries in any state. You think about some of the beers we have. There's no reason. I'm not slamming on brewers from other parts of the country, but there's really no reason why you can drink pretty much. We have an excellent version of every style of beer you can think of made by some brewer in this state.
Yeah, the more I travel, the more I realize that there's great beer here in Georgia, and we're really lucky to do that. Just hope the laws can get a little bit better. We're going to take a quick break right now. We're talking to Scott Hedeen from Burnt Hickory Brewery. Of course, Lisa and Morgan from Your Pie are here as well. We'll be back right after this.
I'm Josh Rachel. I'm the co-owner and brewmaster at Jekyll Brewing, and you're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
There is something in the air in Kennesaw. I'm sure you've noticed it. It is the sweet, sweet smell of barbecue permeating from The Nest, a new barbecue and beer restaurant in K-Town. The Nest is your new restaurant if you really love barbecue. Ribs, brisket, chicken, oh my. Did we mention the bar? The Nest of Kennesaw offers 49 taps of craft beer and an amazing bottle list as well. It's quite simple. If you really like barbecue and craft beer, you have to visit The Nest. Barbecue and beer in Kennesaw, near historic downtown on Cherokee. You do not want to miss Nuit Belge, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill in downtown Atlanta. Nuit Belge pairs Belgian and Belgian-inspired beers along with some of the South's best chefs. Head to nuitbelge.com/Atlanta today. Use promo code BGR10 for $10 off your admission. That's Nuit Belge, an evening of Belgian beers and some fantastic food. Saturday, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill. Tickets and details at nuitbelge.com/Atlanta. And don't forget, use promo code BGR10 for $10 off.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We're the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com. CRL Contracting. We build breweries.
It's Aaron and Tim, the Beer Guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the Beer Guys sent you.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
Yar, Tim, we've got some whales to talk about, don't we? Yes.
We do have a few here. So here's one that will be may have hit some stores yesterday, but will definitely be coming out soon. This is one that people wait for year-round. From Michigan, Bell's Hop Slam is hitting Georgia.
Look out.
So that's it. It's always one. People are already talking and looking for it now, so it's hitting. I know it's going to be going out to stores very soon. So there's one.
There you go.
Here in Georgia, though, one that I'd like to get down and try. Arches is releasing 5-week sell Baltic Porter.
Yep.
So a traditional lager style Baltic Porter. I love that style.
Me too.
So I'd love to go check it out.
Yeah.
And one that's on our Beer of the Week list, Southbound's Mystery Ship. As we said, that's 100% Brett dry hopped Imperial Red Ale. So hits all the sweet spots there of things I enjoy in my life. So that's another one you should keep an eye on.
Definitely. Now, speaking of whales, we've got a lot of whales in front of us
Lined
now. From
up.
Burnt Hickory.
Is it time to open another one? Do I need to get on to another one?
That was my little hint that yes, it's time to open another one.
Scott, let's try
you make the call. You know what?
It's weird.
Morgan and Lisa, what would you like us to open here?
I'm a huge fan of the Noggin Knocker.
Done.
Go for the Noggin Knocker.
Okay, now this is the 2015 Noggin Knocker.
This is the 15 Noggin Knocker.
Let's see. Bottled condition, so it's a
got
little
my fancy.
Stand back, it may
You guys
explode.
carry on while I remove the wax
Is
from
that what
this
the claws are
bottle.
for?
Oh, this was stored.
So,
We've had some
yes,
people say
yeah.
they're opening them now for Christmas, and we're kind of like, ooh, it's like overcarbed. There's a lot in that beer, and it was drinking
Bottle
great a year ago, and now
conditioned,
it's sat for a while. We put a lot into that beer.
Nice. I remember it was at the brewery and you guys were bottling that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that. So
we made a lot of it last year. This year we didn't make as much because we were worried about can we see it. Did it explode?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're good.
It's creeping, Scott. It's creeping. So.
It's creeping. It's an exciting beer. But we only made 200 bottles of it this year because I wanted to kind of throw a bone to the BHB Army. Sometimes they kind of feel like they're a little left out with all the stuff. So, and people, I assume we know who the BHB Army is. That's our little kind of fan club.
Yep.
Cult.
Yes.
Look, nice shirt, by the way.
Yes. So you guys have the nice
Army.
BHB Army shirt. I like that.
Shirt. And then, so we kind of threw them a bone. We had our Christmas party, and that was the highlight was the 2016. That's a whale. People have been looking for that.
Definitely.
Tim, I have your bottle. But you better come get it fast.
Well, I thought I might get it when I went to the brewery today, but no.
You got it.
So, all right. We'll make it around. We'll make it around. Sure enough. So, Scott, I got a question for you here.
Actually, because I've been drinking a lot of this lately, because people are saying it's not really kind of standing the taste of time. We put a lot into it, and like almost like any bottle conditioned beer, it started to eat a little bit on itself again.
Okay.
And so that's why it's a little thinner than it was last year. This year's is like goopy. So, and we have some bottles at the brewery, so you have to be nice. I think Butternut's sitting on probably about 20 of them under his desk.
Vintage?
The new ones, the 2016.
Okay, there are
your
a few
tap
still
room
there,
is logging in, and they're watching us now, and they say to stop saying Butternut. So Butternut.
That's right. I think it only counts if Scott says it.
Okay, well then never mind then. All right.
You have to be living under a rock if you don't know who Butternut is. He's our tasting room. His name's Jeff. He's a great guy,
He's
very
the greatest
talented.
man in the world.
He does a lot of our art, stuff you see online. He does for us, and sometimes we make kind of a little bit fun, but we do love the guy. Love the guy.
So, Scott, we got a little off track there because, and that never happens with you. I'm so surprised that happened. But
when do we go on the air? By the way,
eventually we'll get on there. Eventually, we'll just keep chatting until then.
Yes.
So, but we were talking about Kennesaw and beer and that, and you actually just had earlier this week your first town hall.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming up with a little bit where I kind of want to. I don't know a lot of there's the place called Suburban. It's a new bar in Kennesaw, and the owner is very much pro BHB, really likes us a lot. And I said, okay, what if we curated once a month where he has 3 or 4? It's almost like a tap takeover where we bring in a band. This week we had Ball Breakers, the all-female AC/DC tribute band.
Uh-huh.
Next month we're probably going to have the band called Atomic Boogie. We're looking at some other bands that have come through. Some of the bands we have at our brewery, it's just that sometimes we don't feel it. A lot of people complain it happens on the weekend, they can't go, or the middle of the day. So now it's basically we're recreating a Burnt Hickory event, at this bar. So it's once a month. And it's kind of like a curate. Like we're going to have Touchy, that's Touchy the Clown. He has his bongo. It's a BHB bingo. I mean, just like goofy stuff. Like we're going to watch the Batman.
For those who have
movie.
Never met Touchy, that's worth a trip.
Some people say
you've been warned, but okay.
I'm not touchy. Some people say, "Are you the guy dresses up like the clown?" No, We took him down to the Savannah Craft Beer Festival, like trying to not be invited back again. They're like, he's a great guy. Like, I picture taken like 300 times. He's quite a normal person when the makeup's off, but yes.
He is. Super normal. Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe this whole discussion's turning into butternut and touchy.
That's all right.
Butternut and touchy. That's the important
stuff. I have a brewery,
stuff,
called Burnt Hickory.
Well, I tell you what, let's talk about something else then. Georgia Beer Day, Scott.
Yes.
So that's something we'll talk about a little bit more in our events, but that is the 28th. Next Saturday is Georgia Beer Day. It's a day where tons of breweries around Georgia are doing
have special events going on.
Have special events. And you've done kind of something cool with yours up there. What
we
are you
have kind
doing
of an
for Georgia
ongoing
Beer
collaboration blend that we do with our friends at Dry County who've been on here a couple weeks ago. And so we're doing a thing where you can buy a souvenir that we'll get for $15 that you would get a card and you get 4 samples at each brewery. And we'll have exclusives. So, and then half of that 15 will go toward the Craft Brewers Guild.
Very cool.
I mean, there's bills that the guild has to pay.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a lobbyist, everything that they're doing.
Fighting the laws isn't free.
No.
So, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
No, it's not.
So you get a 2-for-1 there. You buy
2 for
one
1,
pass.
but it's kind of a thing here in
out.
Kennesaw where that's what we're trying to build kind of we've got Southern Sky up there, we've got Dry County, and of course my brewery, Burnt Hickory, and even with the distillery, Lazy Guy, we do a thing on, I think it's once a month on Saturdays, there's a shuttle.
Okay.
That goes from every, it's called the Craft Tour.
Nice.
I think it's on Facebook online, but we see people, they're taking it. They're like, it goes all day long, and it'll take you to every brewery.
And rather than the general beer tours that go maybe to different locations each time, this one is dedicated to your guys'
This is a dedicated
breweries,
where you can pick it up in downtown Kennesaw, and they'll drive you to all 4 of the liquor making establishments.
Very cool.
Well, alcohol making. But
speaking of beer laws, so as we talked about in our news segment that Aaron mentioned to you, there is a bill proposed for distilleries. There is, at least as we know it right now, there's not.
I think it's a question on everybody's. So. Anybody who's a craft beer drinker or lover or owner of a brewery or even just knows about the state and how things is, we're all kind of waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. So what needs to happen, Scott? What needs to happen for Georgia breweries?
I think that with Mississippi making a deal, we know that Georgia is the last.
Yeah.
The last. When I opened my brewery 5 years ago, there's probably maybe like 6 or 7 states that still had a lot of control over their, with the 3-tier. I said, there's no way Georgia's going to be the last one.
Yeah.
Like one of those scene flips from the TV shows is like, oh my God, Georgia's the last one.
Right. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the way they do their little intros.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yes. The little thing comes up. Georgia's the last one. The gang finds out they're the last one.
Georgia's the last one.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, I mean, again, we're talking about the growth here of breweries here. I mean, but, there's only so much growth we can do. I mean, you have to have a lot of money to make beer and to make money. So that's kind of how it kind of works. I mean, Creature Conferences obviously had a lot of money. They're, I don't know, obviously a lot of money, but they make a great product.
Yeah.
But if they had started much smaller, they wouldn't have been able. They were able to come up with the capital and move quicker and make more beer and get that wheel spinning. So they're kicking out beer, good beer, very good beer, and it sells. So they're doing that. We're making very good beer too, but we just can't make it fast enough.
Well, and I think
it's a capital issue.
I mean, our laws basically pigeonhole you into one business model. That's all you really can do. If you look at Asheville, if you look at California, those types of things. You could start off as a small nano brewery, self distro, have bottles, have some kegs in the regional area, and then grow from there organically.
And then we grow, and we get to be so like.
Exactly.
For you to be a major player in the craft beer scene in Georgia, you have to. Either you're extremely rich and you can write the check yourself, or you're going to have to get into bed with investors.
Yeah, and so it doesn't really help the person who's kind of going up by the grassroots and by the bootstraps getting in it.
Yes,
and we've traveled to Denver, Asheville, and all that, and we see there how they have tiny tasting rooms. A place that'll be the size of a good sized garage, but that's feasible there because they can sell the beer on the side.
And not to throw the distributors under the bus. Obviously, I don't want to do that. I have a great relationship with my distributor. I don't want to own a fleet of trucks.
Exactly.
I don't feel like driving to Macon in the rain to drop off a couple kegs at a growler store. That's what my distributor does for me. Their salesmen are representing my brewery when they go around. So, they do. They earn their money. They do that.
Sure.
But I would like to be able to produce and share with people who actually come to my brewery.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to have to take another quick break here. Coming up next, we have a giveaway to give away. We'll wrap up here with Mr. Hedeen. We'll talk to Morgan and Lisa from Your Pie. You're listening to Beer Guys Radio, and we'll be right back.
Have you ever thought about owning your own brewery but don't know what it takes to get one built? We're CRL Contracting, and we build breweries. We're the most experienced contractors in the state of Georgia when it comes to building new breweries and tap rooms. If you've been to Orpheus, Second Self, or Scofflaw, then you know what kind of work we can do. Just give us a call at 678-546-3382 or visit crlcontracting.com. CRL Contracting. We build breweries.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep, brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the beer guy sent you.
Can't get enough craft beer talk? Of course you can't. That's why you need to head to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts and sign up right now for Project BGR. Project BGR is where Tim and myself get to talk to some of the big names in brewing from across the country and the world. We get the scoop on what's going on with breweries like Cigar City, Boston Beer Company, Jester King, Burial, Ballast Point, and more. Project BGR, new shows every other week. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. Project BGR, it's a craft beer podcast. You do not want to miss Nui Belge, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill in downtown Atlanta. Nui Belge pairs Belgian and Belgian-inspired beers along with some of the South's best chefs. Head to nuibelge.com/Atlanta today. Use promo code BGR10 for $10 off your admission. That's Nui Belge, an evening of Belgian beers and some fantastic food. Saturday, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill. Tickets and details at nuitbelge.com/Atlanta. And don't forget, use promo code BGR10 for $10 off. Hey, it's Aaron, and you're a fan of craft beer, right? And you want to know more about what's going on in the craft beer scene in Georgia? Thanks to the hard work from my co-host Tim, we are giving you the lowdown on the craft beer scene every week right in your inbox. Go to beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia beer right at the top. We won't spam you, promise, or sell your name. Just good beer info every week. Plus, you can win great prizes from us. This Week in Georgia beer, sign up today. beerguysradio.com.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I believe you have my stapler.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
And welcome back. Beer Guys Radio. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. We're wrapping things up with Scott Hedeen from Burnt Hickory Brewery.
We told him we had 3 to 5 more minutes, so Scott, we're going to hold you to that.
Exactly.
I think I could probably fill that.
Okay, so
and then my third grade field trip.
Yeah. So Scott, I want to talk your tasting room.
Okay.
So your tasting room is a little unique compared to some of the other or all the other breweries around. So for a first-time visitor up to your brewery, what can they expect? What's the vibe?
You're definitely going to feel like we've got some, the whole idea that I sold like $35,000 worth of rock records to help seed the brewery. We have some records for sale. We do on consignment. People bring them in. We have a jukebox, plays 45s. We got a bunch of church pews out of an old church in Sonoya. I mean, we're kind of trying to make it look. We're in an industrial park. We're not like and to make it, if you come there, I kind of want to say we're like the best dive bar, but we're not a bar, but the best dive tasting room that you would go to. Butternut and I basically will sit there and come up with hanging stuff on the walls, and we had somebody on
the bear that's eating a can of Heady Topper.
Yeah, that's actually Charlie Mears. That's what we call him, Charlie Mears. Yeah, we have a bear hanging on the wall. We've got just a bunch of different stuff.
Isn't Charlie Mears the man who invented beer? Is it? No, that's Charlie Mop, isn't it?
What? I'm so confused.
Irish drinking songs.
Charlie Mears is our friend at Cycle Brewing.
Okay, sorry.
He's from Athens, actually. A lot of people
we'll take care of that in post.
Yeah, so we enjoy. we want to kind of a lot of people. Everybody. It's definitely an interesting visit. We've had everybody pretty like something. Yelp. Somebody said they weren't exactly happy with it because it looked like a teenage pothead's bedroom.
So I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, you know what I've said?
I
feel like I'm hanging out at my favorite dive bar or like your fun buddy's basement.
It's like that, but a lot of it's DIY.
Yeah,
I did that. We kind of built it up. A week before SB 63 went. It was a storage room. We rolled in a cooler and rolled in a kegerator. And next thing you know, it's a tasting room.
There you go.
All right, Scott, to shut things out here, since we're talking music, you're a big music guy, so I'm going to give you some songs, and you tell me what would be the best beer to pair with this song.
Okay.
Back in Black.
A black rye IPA.
Stairway to Heaven.
it would be probably a Belgian quad.
Don't stop believing.
A lager.
Okay.
Just don't stop believing how great lagers can be.
Anything from Run the Jewels.
Anything from Run the Jewels, it would probably be a Saison with Brett with a little bit of, because that's the funk from the Brett, and then it'd be a little snazzy with a little bit of spice to it.
Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. That would probably be, I have to think about that. That would be an American rice-based Pilsner.
Okay.
That was impressive, by the way.
Yeah, he did that well.
I'm actually
the only one that
those are good,
stumped
yes.
him was the Taylor Swift one.
I had to
He
think
was
about
ready
something
for the
funny.
rest
I mean,
of
it
that
probably
one,
would be like, people would be like, I want to go the other direction. Like, it would be a 19% bourbon barrel, bourbon barreled, and aged in Hades, and
yes,
given to.
That's Ozzy Osbourne,
Scott,
I think, maybe. That's
if
it.
people want to know more about Burnt Hickory Brewery, where should they go?
We have burnthickorybrewery.com. That's our website, but I push a lot of people to BHB_brews. That's our Twitter handle and our Instagram. We update that several times a day, and of course our Facebook. Social media is a great place. Sometimes it's a little weird, but it's a great way for people to get the most current information out. So that's where they need to go. And we're in just a little north of downtown Kennesaw. And come up to Kennesaw. We've got 3 breweries and a distillery there now.
Yep. It's good stuff.
And we've, again, one of the sponsors, The Nest, is one of the better beer bars in the state.
It's great. Yeah.
Or actually, probably I would say the country, if you want to really talk like that. But they have a lot of good beer there.
They're fantastic. So, cool. Scott Hedeen, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I
appreciate
love
it.
the beer guys, man.
Absolutely.
Can I leave now?
You're done. Get out of here.
You're done.
Get
There
out
you
of
go.
here.
As long as you leave your beer.
That's
right.
Exactly
That's
the
right.
rules.
Put on the air.
Yeah, we'll go from there. So, hey, we're going to shift gears right now. We're going to talk to Lisa and Morgan Maclellan from Your Pie Perimeter. They're, again, one of our sponsors here, and we were here last week. Your Pie are really one of the better beer bars in town, and we're going to kind of kill some time while they kind of get their mics straightened out, and then we'll be good to go. So thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate it.
We're so excited.
Definitely. Thank you.
There you go. So, you know what? You've had your franchise for almost 2 years. You're going to celebrate your second anniversary in February.
Yes.
What's your background, and what have you guys learned over that course of time?
I was a business analyst and then a claims adjuster in the reverse order, working nearby in Dunwoody, but nothing to do with pizza. Worked at a bar back in 2008.
Okay.
And I also worked in Dunwoody as a food marketer.
Okay. I'm a former KFC fry cook, so if that helps
There you
anything,
go.
there you go. So,
Yeah. I had the privilege of working at Arby's.
Oh, there you
in
go.
Dunwoody.
Exactly. We can talk fast food.
I worked
awfulness.
Arby's
You
in
did?
my younger
I'm
days.
sorry.
I did some
Yeah.
time at Arby's, yes.
What's in that
So-
horsey sauce? That's all I want to know.
Horseradish,
If I knew.
onion, so yeah.
Exactly. So now, you have, like I said, you've been recognized really amongst the Your Pie franchises, and they're all franchises, right? For the most part, individual franchisees, I should say.
Yes, for the most part. In Athens, there are a couple corporate stores, but
Okay, and
generally,
that's where the headquarters is in Athens,
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you guys have been recognized though as really one of the big craft beer sellers amongst the Your Pie thing. How do you reconcile that, or what's been kind of your success for that?
We just try to find delicious beers. Like, we want to serve stuff that we love to drink, and we also want to ask our guests, what do you like to drink? What do you want to see back? And we go find it for them.
Exactly. Just like food is a passion of ours, craft beer is another huge passion. Before we had our own restaurant, we would brew beer occasionally until a batch blew up in the pantry and got
yes,
glass shards in the toaster.
I was working on a lease at 9 a.m. in the morning. All of a sudden, pow.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
But we still love craft beer, and so we've made that a big focus of the restaurant, from events to just having the latest and greatest on draft.
So you guys were beer fans before during Your Pie. Yes. So how important is the craft beer to the business? Is pizza supporting the beer, or vice versa, hand in hand?
I think it's essential.
Hand in
You could
hand.
have, just serve Miller Lite, just serve Bud Light, but you can make it so much better by providing local, delicious drinks that maybe people don't know about, and maybe you need some drinks that'll pull them into it. Maybe you need a Bebo Pilsner that's not off the charts on flavor.
Yeah.
But it's approachable, it's easy, it's delicious. And you hey, try this at the bar. They take a sip of it, they're like, oh, that's really good. Yeah, I'll get one of those.
Yeah, it's important, I think, when you guys have kind of blended that in, and you've got the handmade ingredients and those types of things, kind of create your own pizza. And it's really kind of a fun atmosphere for folks who have now been to a Your Pie as well. It's actually the first place that I tried Creature Comforts a couple years ago. Was that a Your Pie? Yeah,
Really?
So, not at your place, unfortunately. It was in Lawrenceville, but
Yeah.
it was the first place I went there. So it was very cool. Now, if we come to Your Pie Perimeter, what should we expect?
So you can definitely expect delicious pizza and fun
Okay.
craft beer. It kind of starts all when you walk up to the front of our line. We hand toss all of our dough. And so from there, you can really just build your own pizza from homemade marinara sauce to fresh mozzarella, all kinds of fresh toppings that you can put on. And then we cook it quickly in our brick oven. It's really hot, so it's ready pretty soon.
Yeah, I was telling you just the other day, Lisa, I love getting the great white there.
Yes.
So the white pie, get some chicken and sun-dried tomatoes add to it. So
That's the Tim. We call it
the Tim. There you go.
And plus, you guys sell salads too. So, like me, if you have to eat,
That was
salad,
good of you, Aaron, having a salad there. So it's tough to do around all that paninis and pizza.
I did,
and
but I
beer
had
and stuff.
I had a beer along with it, so
Yeah,
I figured I was
there you
okay
go.
with
It
that.
leaves more room for beer.
That's
There you
exactly
go.
right.
Exactly.
So very cool. So
I didn't think the hand tossing mattered at all at first. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. We toss our own dough. But when I finally went out and tried other places that I knew pressed their dough, I realized there's such a big difference. Because when you're pressing a dough with a press, you're heating it up, and it's kind of par baking the dough, blocking out a lot of the flavor absorption. So it really makes a huge difference when you go to a place that's throwing that dough up in the air.
You
and
know, I
pressing it
saw
out.
some cooking science thing, and I don't remember exactly what the show was, but they were talking about the science of how that stretches it, and that it just really does change the consistency
Right.
of the dough, and it is the preferred way to get the best dough out of it.
It's more fun.
So
And also, you guys get to throw
And
food
it's
up in
fun.
the air,
You
which
just
is
throw
always key.
food, right.
Exactly. So what's coming up for you guys? Anything that new that we should be aware of?
Yeah, our anniversary's coming up. The 2-year anniversary, February 4th. We're doing 314 pizzas all day long. We're going to have some great beers for 314 as well, like the craft beers. We're not like, hey, Bud Light 314. No, we're going to get some Creature Comforts in there and some really good beers.
Yeah, so check out our Facebook page to see.
And some Burnt Hickory. I'm sorry.
Thank
They're
you.
not- they're not-
That's good. That's right.
We're going to have it.
well, if you got Creature Comforts, do you really need the Burnt Hickory
We
in
do.
there?
We do.
That's harsh.
We're gonna
That's
start a
harsh.
fight.
There you go.
Okay, hold on. I'm just watching my WSB radio.
Ouch. Shots have been fired. Anyway. Scott and Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Let's go ahead and get into the.
You called them Scott and Lisa.
Did I call them Scott and
Might
Lisa?
wanna-
I call them.
Way it happened.
Yeah.
Hey, we're so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
No, Morgan and Lisa, thank you very much. See,
Thank you.
Scott's beautiful face behind me distracted me.
He's
That's what it was.
hard to miss there.
That's
isn't
right.
he? So.
Let's get into the hot list.
Time for the hot list. The beer guys have the scoop on what's going on next week. Brought to you by CRL Contracting. We build breweries. CRLcontracting.com.
That's hot.
And one of our new sponsors, CRL Contracting. Thanks, guys, for coming on board. What's going on in Georgia today?
Georgia,
Or this week?
they're this week. So as we talk to our friends, Your Pie Perimeter here with they're one of our sponsors. They've got a few cool events this week. Tomorrow is Sunday Fun Day. You can go out there, have a good time. They have a featured pint for $3.14. On Wednesday, have some team trivia. So a beer again featured for $3.14. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Team trivia, pizza, beer, and then as they mentioned, mark your calendars for the 4th of February for their second anniversary.
Yes.
For the 2-year anniversary. So good times there. So we also on Sunday, Falcons, big game.
It is a
for
big
the
game.
Falcons.
Absolutely.
So
Good luck.
Falcons and Reformation at Game Day Fresh Grill up in Woodstock. So you can go up there, hang out, watch the game, enjoy some beers. On Thursday is the Southern Juice IPA can launch. We sampled that
good
earlier in
stuff.
the week.
Yeah.
It's good. Reminded me of kind of East meets West.
A little bit,
Northeast
yeah.
meets
And a
West
little bit of
there,
hoppiness
so.
to it, but it was delicious, definitely.
Fruity, but a little bitterness in the back there. And Saturday, as we mentioned earlier, next Saturday is Georgia Beer Day. So go out, support your breweries, support Georgia beer, support the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild as they fight for better laws for our brewers. There's tons of events on Georgia Beer Day. Check our calendar.
Yep.
Check the Georgia Beer Day page on Facebook. And go out and have a good time and help out.
Definitely. Alabama, we've got, of course, today, I usually don't like to do a lot of Saturday events, but it's the big Von Brewski Beer Festival, and that's going to be in Huntsville from 2 to 6 p.m. So after you finish listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, head over to the Von Braun Center and check out that festival. Ghost Train relaunch tap event at Old Town Beer Exchange in Huntsville. That's going to be a Tuesday at 5 p.m. Wish You Were Beer in Madison is going to have their beer school food pairing class and dinner, which is always fun. And we just talked about Hop Slam, the whale of the week. One of them on Friday. Old Town Beer Exchange is going to have a release there, so that should be good to go. Giveaway to giveaway.
We
What
do
we
have a
got?
giveaway to give away,
Yes.
as we do. So Walt, I'm going to say this last name incorrectly.
Good luck.
Walt Scupian?
Sure.
So, Walt, thanks so much. Drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com, and we'll get in touch with you to get you your swag pack. And, Morgan, I'm sorry I saw your fingers crossed there. I'm sorry you didn't win, but Aaron, if folks want to be entered to win, what should they do?
Well, just visit beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings in Georgia Beer, and you'll also be entered to win our awesome weekly swag pack. So a lot of good stuff in there. And again, Tim's got a great list of all the events that's going on, releases, events, all that stuff. It's really a great resource to have. And we don't spam you. It's only once a week, so we're good.
That's right.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. So we're going to wrap it up for this week. Coming up next week.
Big week for us. So we're going to be out today at Atlanta Cask Ale tasting. We're going to be taping a show there that you'll get to listen to next week.
Yeah, we got some big names coming up.
We're going to talk to some new breweries coming up in Georgia. We're going to talk to Owen Ogletree that organizes the event. So it'll be a great time. If you're around, come say hi to us.
Definitely. And again, thank you guys for checking out the beerguysradio.com. Scott's going to be there too, by the way. So
Scott Hedeen.
Yes.
Meet the one and only.
The one and only. The freshly shaven Scott Hedeen, by the way, I was going to say.
The perimeter is right near where the cat is.
Well, there you go. So you can stop by there for a little post beer.
There you go.
Pizza and all that kind of stuff. And
everybody wins.
That's it. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. BeerGuysRadio.com is our website. We're on the socials all week long. Don't forget to drink local, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Beer Guys Radio.